Hello, namaste. Welcome to day 85 of me meditating every day for 2 hours and then sharing my experiences in a daily video with all of you. I thank you for being here. Last night, oh my gosh, I was sitting there and lying in bed, gasping for air, like get no breath. I had this tremendous amount of head pressure going on. And I was just like sitting there, kind of amiss, at a loss. And I even asked out loud, why have I created this situation for myself? Why have I created this experience for myself? And immediately I received this answer of, you are trying to cultivate more presence. You are creating a situation for yourself where you have no other choice but to surrender into the intelligence of life. And as that realization just started pouring into me, I just completely in that moment just surrendered, let go. I let go of control completely. I let go of thoughts, of feeling. I let my body, my mind, the energy, just do whatever it wanted to do. I just let my body breathe however it wanted to breathe. I let my mind think or not think. I let the energy just breathe through me however it wanted to. And I literally just became space. I just connected to my vast, spacious nature. And I was just a neutral space. Not saying no to anything, not saying yes to anything. Like I said, just letting the mind have its free movement, letting the body have its movement, the breath. And I was just this neutral space, just allowing the energy, the body, and the mind to just work it out on its own, to come into a balance on their own. And I just kept opening and melting and just relaxing my awareness. And I didn't contract on any thoughts. I didn't give any interest to the mind space. I just let the energy in the body do whatever it wanted to do. And then, I just was staying fully open to everything within me. And then out of nowhere, I don't even know how long, I went into this place where I wasn't my body or my mind. Like I said before, I wasn't an object of perception. I wasn't existing in time or space. I was just kind of floating in my pure, my pure nature, I guess you could say. And then out of nowhere, I had this huge energetic shift, or this energetic release, in my heart center. I just felt energy, almost like the bottom dropped out from under me. You might have had this experience before. And all of a sudden, I opened my eyes. I was like, whoa, and I came back into my body and my mind. And I felt the energy was really flowing again. There was this natural movement. Something had released. And I felt my heart fill up with so much radiant aliveness. I felt just this delicious prana start coming back through my being. And I was taking these deep, full, extended breaths for the first time all day. And I just remember thinking I have to share this. I have to share what I experienced. And then I just went into this deep, blissful night of sleep and woke up feeling so restored and just feeling so good in my body. This morning I felt better in my body than I have in weeks. It was such a beautiful integration of so much energy. And I really wanted to share with you guys, when we're in a tight spot with energy, with head pressure, with we can't breathe, there's a lot of symptoms, right, on this path with the energy that's integrating, with the higher consciousness that's integrating, with letting go of the old. When you're in a tight spot, always a great empowering question to ask yourself is, why would I create this experience for myself? Because when we ask this question, we're going to receive what we need to learn from what we're feeling, from the pain we're experiencing. Because the pain and the experience is in our life for a reason. The pain is just trying to show us something about ourselves. The pain is trying to liberate us from an aspect of ourselves that's keeping us in separation, that's keeping us in duality, that's keeping us in the thinking mind. And there's a prayer that I say nearly every day where I ask God, I ask the divine to flood my being with grace, to help me to surrender my egoic desires and personal will so that I can more fully serve you, God. I ask God to upgrade my consciousness so that I can be of more service, so that I can reach my highest capacity of service in this lifetime. And when we ask for this, when we ask God, the universe, to flood our being with light, to flood our being with grace, and we ask it from a humble place, and we mean it with every fiber in our body, the universe, God, the divine, will respond. But oftentimes their response will feel like fierce grace. This is because to be a very useful divine conduit, divine instrument, to anchor God's love and peace and wisdom into this reality, to be a useful conduit for God, we have to be empty of separation, of duality, of judgment, of identification with the mind. So this grace that floods our being, it's going to really force us to surrender thought, to surrender thinking that we are our mind or our thoughts. And it's going to really, through pain sometimes, through pressure, through breath constriction, through a litany and myriad of all kinds of other feelings and symptoms, dark thoughts, it's going to really force us to let go into our more vast nature, into our more spacious nature. It's going to really force us to have the direct experience that the mind exists inside of what we are, rather than we don't exist inside the mind. It exists inside what we are. And if we're caught up in the thinking space, it can be a really powerfully and painful lesson. And there's levels to it, right? And you have to understand, when you're giving your consciousness and your focus and your energy to thoughts, to the thinking mind, you're giving away your power. You're giving away your spiritual power. Because your spiritual power is presence. Presence is your spiritual power. So when you're in the mind, when you're in your past or in the illusory future, you're just giving away your spiritual power. So when your being is flooded with grace and flooded with light, it's trying to bring you back into your power. And sometimes to bring you back into your power, you need a massive amount of pain. Because there's nothing like pain and suffering to bring you to right now. When you can't breathe, you're right here, right now. When you have massive head pressure, you can't escape it. And that's the point. This energy is trying to show you all the aspects within yourself and your consciousness that you try to resist and try to keep yourself from seeing or feeling. This energy forces you and makes you face those aspects of yourself within your consciousness that you're scared to face, that you don't want to see and don't want to feel. And when you fully let go of all control and completely relax your awareness, You access presence. You access a dimension of consciousness beyond duality, beyond separation, right and wrong, good and bad, beyond judgment. You access your true nature, your true, spacious, and vast nature. And this is what all of these symptoms are trying to help you to surrender into. This is why head pressure, not being able to breathe, energy blockages, these are all here to serve your highest evolution as a soul, as a being, as a human being. These symptoms are here to liberate you and to free you from being identified with the conditioned mind. They're trying to free you from your karma, from your beliefs rooted in fear and lack and unworthiness. So it's so empowering to ask when you're in a rough spot with energy and symptoms and pain, to ask, why would I create this experience for myself? What is it that I'm trying to learn through this? And the answer you will receive underneath everything else is you're trying to cultivate more presence, and you're trying to help yourself surrender even deeper into the intelligence of life. And if you have any doubt about that at all, bring all of yourself, all of your consciousness into where you're feeling the most pain, the biggest blockage, all the head pressure. Bring all of yourself there and be present with that pain, that pressure, the feeling. And with all of your essence, ask this pain and the pressure. Ask it what it wants or what it's trying to show you. And the answer you will invariably receive is surrender. For the end of this video, I wanted to share with you guys that I created a blog today, my first blog in quite a while, and it was just a much more precise way to say everything I just said. Almost wish I would have just read it, but I'm going to link that below. I highly suggest you go read that if you're dealing with any of these symptoms. And I also wanted to read you the notes at the end of my blog post that I think will be helpful if you're dealing with a bunch of craziness as you surrender into these feelings and all this pain and everything. As you surrender thinking and identification with thought, the mind is probably going to throw like all sorts of tantrums, and it's going to like throw you thought storms, meaning just like uncontrollable thoughts. You might have like intensely dark thoughts arise, to like really fearful thoughts. The mind might tell you you're going to go crazy if you let go of identification with thinking, with your conditioning. Just know that that's normal if this happens as you're letting go into your spacious nature, as you're surrendering all control to grace, to God. Know that this is normal. The mind is just an innocent survival machine, and it's just really trying to hang on to control. So it's going to be throwing you up all types of things to try to grab your awareness, grab your interest and focus. So that's normal. This will naturally fall away over time. It's normal to feel like you're dying. This process can, like a physical death, this process of surrendering into God, into the intelligence of life, can really sometimes make you feel like you're dying a physical death. And that can come with all types of symptoms and ailments and all types of things like chronic fatigue, aches, pains. Just hang in there and know that this is actually a beautiful thing, because this is a part of the rebirthing process. Like a new consciousness is birthing within you. So it's a wonderful experience, although it can be painful and confusing at times. And the last thing, head pressure is always an indication, in my experience, that there are judgments, positionalities, and duality that we're hanging on to in the mind, whether consciously or unconsciously. So I wrote that the pressure and the energy is cooking away, burning away our beliefs rooted in separation. It's like burning away all the judgments we have. And so if you are able to surrender thinking, if you're able to surrender into your spacious nature, it's going to help this energy flow a little bit better, and it's going to help those blocks disintegrate. It's going to help all those beliefs rooted in separation, it's going to help them disintegrate. But I did write this, sometimes this has to be an unconscious surrender that happens in God's timing. So that's part of it. I just wanted to share those with you guys at the end here to give you guys some more support if you're going through any type of challenges that I mentioned. So day 85, I hope you guys are well. Sending you all so much love. I will see you on day 86. Namaste.